and hunkering in the shadows beneath the hand trucks that first brought in the piecework and then rolled it out again. On several occasions I called the attention of my co-workers to these vermin. They claimed not to see them. Perhaps they really did not. I think it far more likely that they were afraid the sewing floor might be temporarily closed down so the rat catchers could come in and do their work. The sewing crew might have lost 3 days' wages, or even a week. For men and women with families, that would have been catastrophic. It was easier for them to tell Mr. Hanrahan that I was seeing things. I understood. And when they began to call me Crazy Wilf, I understood that too. It wasn't why I quit. I quit because the rats kept moving in. I had been putting a little money away and was prepared to live on it while I looked for another job, but I didn't have to. Only 3 days after leaving Built-Right, I saw an ad in the paper for a librarian at the Omaha Public Library. Must have references or a degree. I had no degree, but I have been a reader my whole life, and if the events of 1922 taught me anything, it was how to deceive. I forged references from public libraries in Kansas City and Springfield, Missouri, and got the job. I felt sure Mr. Quarles would check the references and discover they were false, so I worked at becoming the best librarian in America, and I worked fast. When my new boss confronted me with my deception, I would simply throw myself on his mercy and hope for the best. But there was no confrontation. I held my job at the Omaha Public Library for 4 years. Technically speaking, I suppose I still hold it now, although I haven't been there in a week and have not phoned in sick. The rats, you see. They found me there, too. I began to see them crouched on piles of old books in the binding room, or scuttering along the highest shelves in the stacks, peering down at me knowingly. Last week in the reference room, I pulled out a volume of the Encyclopedia Britannica for an elderly patron. It was RA through ST, which no doubt contains an entry for Rattus norvegicus, not to mention slaughterhouse, and saw a hungry gray-black face staring out at me from the vacant slot. It was the rat that bit off poor Achellois's teat. I don't know how that could be. I'm sure I killed it, but there was no doubt. I recognized it. How could I not? There was a scrap of burlap, blood-stained burlap, caught in its whiskers. Snood. I brought the volume of Britannica to the old lady who had requested it. She wore an ermine stole, and the thing's little black eyes regarded me bleakly. Then I simply walked out. I wandered the streets for hours and eventually came here, to the Magnolia Hotel. And here I have been ever since, spending the money I have saved as a librarian, which doesn't matter any longer, and writing my confession, which does. One of them just nipped me on the ankle, as if to say, get on with it, time's almost up. A little blood has begun to stain my sock. It doesn't disturb me, not in the slightest. I've seen more blood in my time. In 1922, there was a room filled with it. And now I think I hear, is it my imagination? Nope. Someone has come visiting. I plugged the pipe, but the rat still escaped. I filled in the well, but she also found her way out, and this time I don't think she's alone. I think I hear 2 sets of shuffling feet, not just one. Or 3? Is it 3? Is the girl who would have been my daughter-in-law in a better world with them as well? I think she is. 3 corpses shuffling up the hall, their faces, what remains of them, disfigured by rat bites. Arlettes cocked to one side as well by the kick of a dying cow. Another bite on the ankle. And another. How the management would... Ow! Another, but they won't have me. And my visitors won't either, although now I can see the doorknob turning and I can smell them. The remaining flesh hanging on their bones, giving off the stench of slaughtered. The gun! God, where's the. Stop! Ah! Make them stop biting me!
From the Omaha World Herald, April 14, 1930. Librarian commits suicide in local hotel. Bizarre scene greets hotel security man. The body of Wilfred James, a librarian at the Omaha Public Library, was found in a local hotel on Sunday when efforts by hotel staff to contact him met with no response. The resident of a nearby room had complained of a smell like bad meat, and a hotel chambermaid reported hearing muffled shouting or crying like a man in pain late Friday afternoon. After knocking repeatedly and receiving no response, the hotel's chief of security used his passkey and discovered the body of Mr. James, slumped over the room's writing desk. "I saw a pistol and assumed he had shot himself," the security man said. "But no one had reported a gunshot, and there was no smell of expended powder. When I checked the gun, I determined it was a badly maintained .25 and not loaded. By then, of course, I had seen the blood. I have never seen anything like that before and never want to again. He had bitten himself all over. Arms, legs, ankles, even his toes. Nor was that all. It was clear he had been busy with some sort of writing project, but he had chewed up the paper as well. It was all over the floor. It looked like paper